I've done 5 years in automotive engineering for some of the biggest companies on the planet, as well as some smaller manufacturers. I'm speaking from my personal experience and from people I've talked to in the field. Other people's experiences may vary. I'm fully aware of that. So here are 5 reasons, my 5 reasons why engineering sucks. Number 1, the early days of any engineering job. Nobody trusts you. Your work will be limited to mostly grunt work, if you have any work at all. The reason is because people above you will not see you as worthwhile teaching for tasks that they can do themselves quicker or tasks that have much higher significance. If you end up working in something like product engineering, which is what I used to do, mistakes can be extremely costly. It'll be a while before you can make some bigger decisions on how products are built, tested, and so on. This can last anywhere from 8 months to 2 years, depending obviously on the size of the company. So get used to having a lot of free time or constantly begging for more work. After the early days, so in engineering, you quickly go from no responsibility to being extremely overwhelmed. You'll receive a decent pay increase, but the work-life balance for many, mostly in North America, is non-existent. As you gain more responsibility, you have to attend more meetings, many of which are completely pointless, manage more tasks, and stay up to date on everything. I worked with someone with 5 years of experience, and she would come in at 7 a.m., have about 5 hours worth of meetings every day, 3 hours of staying up to date and informed on the actual technical side of her job, so schematics, understanding product testing, etc., and then another 2 hours just to stay afloat with housekeeping and documentation. Keep in mind that some of these meetings are extremely important and you're expected to attend them, and if you have a customer on the other side of the world, sometimes these meetings can happen at 8 p.m. or 11 p.m. or 5 in the morning, and you're expected to make sure that the customer is happy and you're attending every one of these. Another very important side of engineering is that everything needs to be constantly tracked and constantly updated. So my colleagues' long days weren't some anomaly. They happened on a somewhat regular basis. Vacations and breaks would be few and far between, and the workload and stress upon returning from a vacation was like getting hit in the face by Mike Tyson. To me, it didn't seem like the pay increase was a sufficient enough reward for a lack of social life and increased stress. I often notice people in their 30s looking like caffeinated zombies battling stress and depression, and that's where that meme comes from where, oh, Greg, 25-year-old engineer, and he looks like a 60-year-old man. It's a really grim look into the future that I was potentially going down, but there's a lot of truth in that meme. Number 3, meaningful work. You think of engineers as maybe people in lab coats working on solving some of the world's biggest problems. The reality is most engineering jobs are pointless. Whether it's dealing with stupid bureaucracy, babysitting other engineers, cleaning up messes that were very preventable, etc., a lot of work is tedious and monotonous. Let's think about a facility like the one I used to work at Chrysler or Ford, which has thousands of engineers. Do you really think all those jobs are meaningful or interesting? I'd say the majority are not. You will have to climb pretty high up the ladder or get really lucky with a job you find before you find some sort of meaning in your work. Automotive engineering was full of redundant testing, overkill documentation, countless meetings, and minimal problem solving. Many times I would feel like, yeah, I think a monkey could probably do this job. Number 4, the rat race. Okay, this is probably something common in many fields, but my personal experience with people kissing up to managers, higher ups, taking credit for work they didn't do, stabbing fellow engineers in the back was really gross. And I'm not really sure why this is so prevalent in engineering, but my guess is that many engineers think that they're some sort of special high IQ snowflake. It's what's fed to them in school, and they sometimes really embellish it. Truthfully, I never thought that I was smarter than anyone. I never thought engineering was the holy grail of civilization or that I deserved some sort of special badge because I'm an engineer. I thought engineering is just like any other job. Another theory I have, and obviously let me know if I'm completely out of pocket and you completely disagree with everything I'm saying, but another theory I have is that some of these university clubs really breed the worst kind of people. A lot of egotistical people who don't have the best social skills, and once they get that high salary, they want to show the world that wronged them. I know, I'm speaking a lot of generalizations and a lot of my own experiences. I could be completely wrong, but these are just things that I saw and noticed and just patterns that I observed. And not to be a complete bummer, I will also say this, I was very fortunate enough to meet some fantastic people in engineering, some people that are to this day my friends, but that was most certainly the minority. Number 5, remote Nelly's got to talk about remote work. Now, this will obviously depend on the kind of engineering you're in. So unless you're in software engineering, your probability of working online is unlikely. That is changing a lot, obviously, as you know, the pandemic obviously had a lot of impact on that. But when I was an engineer, there was almost no chance to work online. And this is something I never enjoyed. 8 hours of being forced into a cubicle, as if I could even focus for 8 hours, being around people I didn't really like or couldn't really relate to, and the list goes on. But that's probably a topic for another video. So if you'd like to work from home, I don't think you'll find much success in engineering unless you're talking about software engineering, programming more so than in engineering. And also, obviously, this is, you know, subject to change in the next 5 or 10 years. The pandemic definitely pushed a little bit more people and companies to go online, but that also could be a pendulum that's going to swing the other way. I could probably name another 10 reasons, but I don't want this to be a podcast. Let me know if you're in engineering and if you agree or disagree with what I said. Let me know how your time is going. If you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about not being in engineering, if I had to guess. But regardless, let me know what you think. 2 years ago, I switched into digital marketing. I've been doing digital marketing on the side for close to 7 years now. It's something I have a real passion for, something I love doing. Oh, and I also moved to Spain. So my intention with these videos is to help people also potentially transition into another career and maybe even move to Spain or some other destination that, you know, fulfills them a bit more. So if you're interested in any of those topics, stick around. Hopefully there might even be some jokes along the way. I'm not gonna promise anything, but yeah, I'll see you next time. Hasta luego.